You are listening to DC On Screen.
Whew. All right, well, welcome into DC On Screen. I'm David C. Robertson. This is my co-host, Jason Goss.
Hello.
Oh, if I feel deflated to you guys, keep in mind, I woke up at 4 a.m. this morning, and it is now 11:42 p.m., and we have just gotten out of this movie, and I crammed some food in my mouth, and I know you did as well.
Yeah.
And sat down to record this absolute monster of overstimulation. Now, I don't want to talk. I do want to have like a spoiler-free section.
A quickie?
Up front. And then we can say like, oh, we'll do a break or some shit. And then come in on spoilers or something. But because this movie is not even officially out yet.
Oh, sure.
It doesn't come out until Friday. But,
yeah.
Let's, give me your high-level thoughts, spoiler-free thoughts on Superman, written and directed by James Gunn.
The high-level version that's a really, really good start. Like, I kept thinking about, just kind of comparing it to the other characters I'd seen on the way home. And, the more and more I'm thinking about, like, what I actually got to see this guy do on screen, it satisfies a lot of things. Checks a lot of boxes. I don't know. I watched a film about a thoroughly good person for a second. It was nice.
Mm-hmm.
And then like the other high level part is, as far as the villain goes, man, I think that might be the most. He maybe had the most teeth for me. Like I think I was the most gripped by that part.
Yeah.
I don't know. The high level part was really just for me. This was a good start.
Yeah. I am at a weird place where I'm not sure exactly how I feel.
Mm-hmm.
There are definitely things I loved. There are definitely things that like I feel like if you take big chunks of Superman the movie and big chunks of Man of Steel, my favorite Superman movie is some amalgamation of those three. Like I missed a bit of the grandeur, of the stoicism of Superman. Because it does feel a little more, and I was prepared for that. It feels...
It's a very relatable dude.
Look. Yes, he's very relatable. He's very relatable here. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's also just a thing where, I've been trained to believe certain things about Superman. Now, you could be a dick and be like, oh, Henry Cavill didn't do that. But no, what I'm talking about, he fucking did. He was, there was a certain nobility to a whole lot of this imagery, in Man of Steel and in the Chris Reeve movies, less so here. But I was driving home, and importantly, I asked my wife, who is not a comic book aficionado. She did not grow up with this stuff. She has seen a lot of this shit because of me.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "What did you think?" And she was like, "I loved it. I loved it so much." And, she was so happy about it. And, she asked me how I felt. And I said, I think at 41, my time may have passed. There might be a version of this where like I love Creature Commandos. I love season 1 of Peacemaker. I loved the Suicide Squad.
Right.
But for certain characters that I grew up with, which, I was raised on Reeve, there is a possibility that what I'm looking for, which would be some combination of probably Reeve, Man of Steel, and Superman the Animated Series, is just not possible. And I say that,
Could be. You did say like grandeur earlier, I think.
Yeah, there's like a grandeur, and I will get into that deeper when we get into our spoiler-filled section. I do not hate this movie. I do not even dislike this movie. It was a good movie. I don't think it was a great movie. I don't think it was the best movie Gunn's ever made. It's like watching it, I see why Gunn was hesitant to do it in the first place. You know what I mean? Like,
not that. I feel like I see what when he kept saying, "I see my way in," I feel like I know what he's talking about now.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't sense that that I didn't get like hesitation marks from what was on screen.
Right. No, what I mean is it feels like not quite, it's not like anything that's come before. And that's part of That's part of my question. I totally recommend this movie. Like, you need to go see this thing and see how it plays in your brain. And like, for me, I'm always going to struggle with what has come before and what that meant to me and what exactly it was about those movies. Like, in a lot of ways, I felt the same way coming out of Man of Steel, where I came out like going, I don't know how the fuck I feel.
Yeah.
You know, like, I feel like there was a lot more to love here for me. I do feel like it was a bit jumbled. I feel like it was a little overstuffed. Like, I feel like the Daily Planet people didn't get quite as much as I needed them to have. Specifically, Wendell Pierce as Perry.
Yeah, he's underused.
And I also
underutilized, at least.
You know, I'm a fair amount of the time wondering what Cat Grant's doing there. I'm wondering why. Look, Steve Lombard was fun. I don't know why he was there.
No, well, I mean, most of the crew was just there to fill it out. It would seem like, unless there's another 5 or 7 minutes that they just didn't have time to round out or something.
And you know, that's another thing, is like part of the reason I'm wondering if like this is telling of why Gunn was hesitant to take it in the first place, because we heard these reports about they were taking them into screenings and they were cutting stuff and trimming it down and kind of cutting the fat, and that's a perfectly reasonable thing. It's the thing that happens on a consistent basis with all movies. That's not like, you know, an artisanal independent film.
No, some even have metrics in their head where they just expect, you know, X amount of minutes are going to go away, and you know, they just know 30 minutes are going to leave when they're done cutting or something. Mm-hmm. They're so used to it.
But yeah, I don't think Warner Brothers made Gunn cut anything. I think he looked at it and he listened to what people said and went, all right, fair enough. But I
think it's the film he wanted to make.
Yeah, I think it is mostly, you know, as a person who's done creative shit my whole life, it's never what you wanted to make.
Oh, sure. But so he's going to get about as close as anyone's going to reasonably get right now.
Yeah. But also, like, the last few days, I've noticed him saying stuff like, I don't know where this stuff comes from, where they say it's got to hit 700 million to break even. It's not that deep, y'all. It doesn't have to go that big. It just has to do well enough.
Yeah.
And I'm like, are you pulling back? Are you like bracing us for this impact?
No, I don't think so.
If you were curious, at 147 reviews, it is currently sitting at 86% on the certified fresh. It is certified fresh. I get it. I'm not, you know, I've never seen a superhero film like this.
Yeah, I mean, I won't compare it to Rotten Tomatoes just out of principle, though. But like, I mean, I can see something like the rating as far as it goes. That's the one question I really wanted to ask you, as far that it does something that's interesting. So that it's an I won't call it an overstimulated. Well, I mean, I guess you did. That's one way to put it. It's very busy.
It is very busy. Yes.
It's 2 hours of like you. He did prepare us for this, and I don't think I was fully prepared for it. Still, I mean, you get a little flash of there's a little bit of, you know, a little bit of setup here and there, but like for the most part, just from square one, you're in this universe, and very much in the action. And like the only thing that caught me off guard was sort of realizing the movie had started. Yeah, in a way, like it's at such a high pace the entire time that I don't know. It's like you don't realize we're at the chorus, and that took a minute to adjust to.
It's interesting because it feels very lived in. The universe does.
Yeah, which I was enjoying, but it's odd to dissect it live that way though, because every time you see something, I was having the same experience trying to read the like new history of DC Universe the other day, where every page you have to stop and okay, what does that mean now? What do I have to erase?
It is, yeah. It's
What's
like that.
In the universe.
It's like that, but it's also like it feels lived in, but it also feels like, wait, I don't know these people well enough yet for this. And that's disconcerting. And I don't know what the answer to it is. Like one of my issues with the film is that if Superman is not the first, he doesn't feel as special. However, if you are doing a huge DC universe and you want to have that backstory where you're like, okay, well, the Justice Society existed and all this shit happened, like the Amazonians are, you know, thousands of years ago and all this. I mean, they said it that, you know, we've had metahumans for 300 years or something.
We've entered spoilers, by the way.
Oh, no, I haven't entered spoilers. He said this before the movie even came out. Okay. Yeah. So, and he said 300 years ago is when we first started getting metahumans that we knew about. We've known about it for 300 years, but there were other like creatures thousands of years ago. And when you have that setup, and then you have to make a decision. Mm-hmm. You have to say, okay, are we going to shield all the gods who were thousands of years ago? You can easily do that. But if you have that Justice Society or metahumans for 300 years dating back that are well known, do you make Superman the first one, as he was in the comics for us in a way? And do you have him have that grandeur? Do you have that awe of, oh my God, this man who's, all this? Like, where do you start inserting stuff? Like, do you have him in the 30s or 40s with, Justice Society shit? You know what I mean? Like, do you have some other version of this? You just can't do both. Kind of.
I guess I've never actually thought about like the firstiness of it. Whether care about.
So if you want Superman in the modern day, there's a whole bunch of shit in the DC universe that had to have taken place before him.
Yeah.
But, there is that thing that I missed, that little quintessential thing, and you can't have it both ways. There's no way you can win this. And I'm not saying Gunn is wrong for whatever he chose here. Yeah. But, I do miss that that BVS moment, humanity meets the Superman.
I could say, I mean, I guess it's built in here in a way that he sort of raises the stakes.
Mm-hmm.
He is very much the best of them. Like his debut is different.
Yeah,
it hits Diffington as
I'm
sure some of the typers would have put in there somewhere.
So I think as far as spoiler free goes, I will say everybody does a fantastic job. No notes on the acting.
Oh Christ, no. Yeah, that's great.
I am in a weird place where this might be my favorite and least favorite Mon Pa Kent. I don't know which one yet.
Yeah, they're in a strange place.
They're different. They are very different.
Yeah. They're not. This is one thing that I'm having to unravel because I've been catching myself doing this for 2 hours now. Is over comparing. So like I'm having to make it a stretch for like a fresh. That's a fresh pair of Kents I just met.
Yeah,
it's not a response, Kent.
I think they might be closest to Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman, Ma and Pa. But
yeah, in a way. They resemble all of the common traits you're going to be used to. They're just this affectation of them is very much, let's call it colloquial.
Yeah, I think it feels like, at least for some of this, it definitely feels like Gunn listened to or had the same thought when people were having complaints about Man of Steel and just went, yep, doing the opposite of that.
Yeah.
Specifically with like the parents.
See, some of it, that was one thing I kept, I kept having to mentally adjust around being like, is this, I kept wanting to compare it directly to Man of Steel in some way, which just isn't what we were doing.
Yeah.
But
it's what we're always doing. It's what we're always doing. We compare it to all the things. That's what we do. But
I wanted to care. Like I wanted to compare value later, but I didn't want to start inserting parts of their universe that aren't there, just like making shadow problems in the universe because it's hard to do. To that end, I think that may be the root of like when we started talking about 30 minutes ago, I would have described myself as, quote, still nervous about seeing this film.
Mm-hmm.
Future tense somehow.
Yeah.
I think that's because I'm still kind of like, all right, I've got to get through some of the digestion, but that's what this is for.
I was honestly like, we walked out of the theater and we started talking about something else entirely. And I was so thankful because I was just not ready to have any kind of conversation about this movie yet. I was like, I've got to get home and figure out what the hell I'm doing with this.
Yeah.
What I'm saying about this, I was so happy you didn't ask me what I thought.
Yeah.
I have expected you to be like, well, what do you think? Like, scared.
No. I just, I figured we'd talk later. I was listening to people in the parking lot and,
I kind of was too.
People in the theater. I mean, yeah, the same basic response from everybody else. Yeah, it's really good. I mean, yeah, the non-spoiler version is, I'm trying to digest a couple things about it, and the pacing caught me off guard a little. But
yeah,
I really did like this film, and it's funny as hell. And God, the action's going to be way better than I remember. Like, I'm going to go back and see it this weekend at some point. But the action's way better than I had time to really sit with in a lot of ways. I mean, actually, I say that there's a couple scenes that we need to get into in the spoilers of the action.
Yep. I will say, I saw a review that said this Superman doesn't have any real agency. The plot just kind of happens to him. And I mean, how do you say that? Like,
no, yeah, that doesn't make sense.
And this is, as we know from a trailer that already comes out, like he just got up and flew his ass to a foreign country and decided to intercede in a war and stop it.
Yeah.
And caused all sorts of horse shit for himself.
I mean, from trailers, without even crossing over fully to spoilers, the two main motivations of the movie are, yes, he unilaterally decides something, and two, Lex wants to kill him. Mm-hmm. So yes, one intrinsic, one extrinsic motivation. But that sounds great for how to start out a movie, in my opinion.
Yeah. But also, I mean, plots just kind of happen to people, man.
Yeah, I call it life getting lifey.
Yeah. And that's actually something I really liked about the movie, is that it wasn't him just going from point A to point B with all of this like purpose, and like, no, things keep happening and he has to keep dealing with it. And then more things happen and he has to deal with it.
Yeah. There's, to that into a specific moment that really hits later.
Yeah.
Shall we?
Yeah. Let's hit a real quick break. And when we come back, we are getting into our spoiler section. We're just going to go ahead and rip that Band-Aid off. All right, we're back. Now begins our spoiler-filled section of the Superman review. And again, I apologize. I'm very sleepy. Look.
I feel like this is actually where I'll sound as excited as I was to see certain parts. Like off the back of what you said there. I didn't realize how it was going to play exactly, but yeah, the real climax of the movie there at the end is, I think one of the main lines that's supposed to be at the last, like the climax is like 3 times in a way, but like one of the last ones is like, good luck with that, as I'm going to kill you. Good luck with that. Yeah. For that reason, I guess it was around that point in the movie I realized how many times he had gotten up.
Yeah.
It does happen so fast that I'd lost count of just how bad of a day he was having at some point, or several days. He's had
a rough few days for sure.
I think that part of like my prediction from the trailer is it ended up being right. Is that, this is definitely a film about Superman getting his ass kicked,
and not stopping.
Yeah, and we're in the spoiler section, so guess what? He does win. But yeah, it's very much. I mean, the movie starts with him saying, and he just lost his first battle. Cool.
Yeah, which I don't know how. I was split on that opening where it was like, this many 3,000 years ago, this happened. 300 years ago, this happened. 3 decades ago, this happened. It felt like, the little boxes in the comics that kind of give you exposition.
Yeah.
But I did like that it was like, that it said that he just lost his first fight.
Right.
That was a lot of fun.
That was. And come zooming in for if there was anything disappointing about that opening scene, it was that it was the spot we'd already seen. So I was like, oh shit, that's your pee break right there. She's gone.
Were you excited about? Were you excited to see Bradley Cooper?
No, not really. I don't think I get excited to see Bradley Cooper.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the thing that happens for me. It also, he's very glitchy. It took me a second to really realize what I was looking at there. He kind of looks like a lot of people when you're not thinking about it.
Yeah. So Bradley Cooper as Jor-El, not the important role that Jor-El has previously been.
No.
And I kind of dug that.
Yeah. So some of the way that Gunn seems to have found his way into this film was saying, you know what if fuck Krypton?
A little bit.
Like, what if just a little bit fuck those guys?
Yeah, a little bit.
And, good choice. If Man of Steel got a few things that were universally considered right, and that first 10 minutes was great. So, leave that with them.
So, Yeah, that was one of those things where I was very happy to see that, like, we're not getting, like, the he's like, well, I like this one part, and that's what I have, and the rest of it is corrupted, and I don't know what it says, but it's comforting to me, because it says nice things about where I come from. And, we've previously had all these iterations where, no, he's going to go to from Superman the movie all the way through Superman and Lois on the CW. Like, no, he's going to go to the fortress and he's going to talk to his parents and he's going to have those guys.
Yeah.
And more often than not, and it's interesting because more often than not, we see a version of his father who dies, or both of his parents die, his adopted parents, but he can always go back to the fortress and hang out with Jor-El and get some sage advice. Sometimes it's just a hologram answering questions that it predicts. Sometimes it actually kind of seems like it's conscious. We don't know. Yeah. But what I like here is, and I should have known because it's some shit they did with Smallville. Like all this week I've been seeing like Corn Sweat was like, oh yeah, Tom Welling was my Superman. And
I did see that earlier. Yeah, him and Holt had both said like, that was that was my introduction right there.
Yeah, everybody's a Smallville fan.
Yeah,
and like even Gunn said like the reason he called it Luthor Corp instead of LexCorp is he's like, I don't know, maybe Lionel's around. Oh, you son of a bitch.
Yeah.
So we've got that going on, but what I really liked in the movie, though, one of the things I really liked and that really touched me is it opens with, him getting hurt and taken to the fortress, and Gary, I should say now, has that moment where he's like, oh yeah, it soothes him. His parents soothe him. And then in, spoilers, we've warned you, in the movie, Lex and the engineer decrypt the rest of that message, and we learn, much as we did in Smallville, that Clark was intended to rule the Earth.
Right.
And he has to come to terms with what does that mean for him. Like, in all these previous iterations, we had Jor-El basically, turning him into Jesus, or some sort of Jesus figure, saying like, you must you must teach them, they will stumble, that whole thing.
Yeah,
they will find you in the sun or whatever. And here, is like, oh yeah, you're here to serve them, and it's a wonderful thing. Of course, you'll be ruling over them with harems. The fuck?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
What I like though is here we have like, he has this idea of where he comes from, and that turns out to be untrue. Mm-hmm. But he makes a choice. It was never even a choice for him, not because of what his Krypton parents told him in this message, but because of how his adopted parents taught him.
Yeah, the book ending of that.
The book ending
is the point, I think,
where he's laying on that table and he's like, roll the footage of his parents. It soothes him, right. And it's like home movies of the Kents. I teared up.
Yeah, it's good stuff. And I think probably the most important line of the movie, I think it's, forgive me if I get this wrong, I think it's Pa Kent. And he says something along the lines of like, how you think the rest of that message must have gone is the most important thing. Like the fact that you filled in the blank with what you mad-libbed it so kindly compared to, that's all that matters. Wasn't that Pa?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
They have, and I knew that guy. That guy's a wonderful actor, always captivating. I knew there was going to be a moment where he just did something really good. And yeah, it's that conversation. He sits down and just, man, he old wisdoms your ass to death. He just, and from where we are, like where we're from, he's a bunch of dudes' grandpas. Sounds like them too. Phrases that I'm super familiar with. Like none of that. If you're wondering if that's just like weirdly stupid, stereotypical, no, I've been in homes my whole life that look like that one, and they sound like that in there too.
Yeah.
But yeah, he it's a phenomenal job just grounding the movie and Clark in that moment.
Yeah. I've never quite seen a Mom Pa Kent like this, and they were a little more southern than I anticipated.
like dawdling and kind of a bit simple compared.
Yeah.
Definitely simple compared to some of the other versions. But like they're kind of, man, they are super down to earth. Like, yeah, simple is a good word for it. Like they're straightforward.
But I like that juxtaposition though too with Lex, where he came here.
Not.
He was a have-not, dude. Like,
Yeah.
They were simple. They came from nothing.
Yeah.
Lex had everything, and he's just pissed. He's
Turned
pissed
into
this
this.
guy has these powers. Piece of shit.
Yeah. So he also he's a highlight in general. He does a great job of this role. But man, his speech there at the end really, I wanted to rewind that shit.
Mm-hmm. About how he has feelings and he wakes up every day and doesn't know what he's doing, but tries anyway.
Not Superman's, because that one. Oh god, that was that was a different kind of beautiful. Lex before though.
Okay.
He's stalking the same room, I guess, in that scenario. Some great speeches in that set. But Lex before, when he does the like, oh, of course it's envy, and goes into, yeah, it's envy, and this is why I'm going to crush it. When it's his version of the mustache twirl, I guess, where he just unloads. But like he is tearing through the fucking screen with anger, man. It was a great performance. I loved that shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like every performance here, like I honestly don't know completely what my issues with this movie are.
I honestly think it's I think it's just that there's not going to be that many. It's just that it's fine and it was really good and we're not sure what to do with it yet.
I think the biggest problem is that it just wasn't like the end all be all everything.
Well, yeah, it can't. Well, that's the thing that I kept doing during the movie was I kept like trying to look for another, like, what's his answer to the flight scene or something, and having to go, well, that's not what we're doing, and it's not fair to the movie. I can't be looking for shit that's not here, so I don't need to look for another flight scene. And even then, right at the end, his speech about putting one foot in front of the other, that's as close as I wanted. And then like his dad with that line that I was talking about a second ago, both very good candidates for a combination of where I'm getting that emotional moment.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, having also just digested everything like we did, you're like looking for the highlight reel of everything that you've seen before and seeing it be answered or kind of deliberately taken away. It's not fair to it. I'm still unraveling that as we're talking.
Mm-hmm. Given how much people were just pissed about, there's that big thing out in Metropolis when that first picture came out, and then with the teaser and the trailer, there's this whole like, he's just like talking to Lois, he's making out with Lois, he's putting on a boot.
Yeah.
No, like he's like just lackadaisical.
Like, is he not taking this shit seriously? No.
There's like a thing in the background, and oh my god. And in the movie, I was just like, well, I mean, we'll see how that plays in the movie. In the movie, he's absolutely not at all interested in it.
He's barely like it. Yeah, there's 3 or 4 different what I'll call beat jokes.
Yeah, as they're like, cause he's like tired, he's beat.
Yeah,
and he has had the shit kicked out of him, and he's sitting there. And she's like, "Don't you need to go handle that?" And he's like, "Oh no, they've got it. This is the Justice Gang has got it. Whatever."
Baseball bat the whole time.
Yeah, this is like just like a thwack, 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 thwack.
And they're not
like,
well coordinated thwacks or whatever. That was the best part about it. That was what was really getting the chuckles. And like at some point, he just like taste the cocoa. Yeah, I enjoyed that, and that's sort of close to Mix Spitlick in the background.
Yeah, they do say it's a fifth dimensional imp.
It's got to be either him or something, in that area. It's something very powerful in the background. And then like at the very end, you just sort of see like a giant fishnet, Green Lantern just pulling it away. Like, they beat it. You just get over it.
Which, I mean, I can see if somebody's mad about it, I kind of get it. But at the same time, what I like about it is like, no, this is a fully functioning DC universe.
Yeah, that was what I was hoping for with that was, and it went there with it, is the scene proves beyond any shadow of a doubt that, that there are, the whole universe is not relying on Superman, which is going to be fun because it means that we don't have to kill him maybe to make a universe around him, because I'm really tired of watching this guy die.
Uh-huh.
Like, I want to watch him hang around for a while this time. If he dies later, that's cool, but like, give me a little while. Yeah, he didn't give a shit. It very much means that there's at least a couple of powerhouses around. We can do a lot more fun things with that story. Kind of makes Peacemaker, it actually ramps up the power levels of Peacemaker, just knowing that those two are going to be visiting it. Like, we've got a different, That's the establishment of powerhouses in there, and the Justice Hall and all that being in there as well. It's a lot more exciting than just having to meet everybody again for the first time and learn about their powers as they're learning about them.
Yeah, we didn't take any real time to learn about Guy Gardner's powers or where they come from.
No, like you didn't see anyone have that shocked moment where like they, like Spider-Man on the bus.
Yeah.
The oh my God, I can do what now? We didn't do any of that.
But it's also like not needed at all. Like, in this, the way we kind of have it is like with Hal being like, or not Hal, Guy being like, that's why the Guardians chose me. It's like, oh God, shut up, you dick.
Yeah, he gets a little exposition, and they prove a lot of things here that are pretty cool. Like, did you need a backstory for Hawkgirl? No,
nope,
no. She's a terrifying lady running around beating the shit out of things, and that is plenty. Like,
yep.
We there was. I want to see more. Let's do it. Like, there were our Metamorpho. That's a complicated character with a rich history. But did you need that right now?
No.
On screen right now, that worked just fine. He's weird. There's 4 colors. No one told me anything. At some point, he's just a flying head with like a gas cloud behind him. No one stopped to tell me what was happening and why, and that was fine. Like, if anything, something that probably fucked me up on the pacing, and this is where it's my fault for sure, is I think realizing like that's all I had to see was what I saw, and that was fine. But it leaves me wondering about so many other rules of the universe that I'm trying to extrapolate around. That I forget that was enough and just stopped to see the scene that way. Mm-hmm. That was probably messing with pacing because like something that seems like something might seem like it took a minute on screen, but for me was 10 seconds all the way around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, at times I was like, wait, what? With Metamorpho, and then I was like, wait, no,
we're good.
that's Source. Yeah. Like, you wanted wacky Silver Age, man. This is what you're getting. Wacky Silver Age.
Yeah. They didn't stop for that. They don't stop to tell me what's going on with the baby. It's just a screaming baby. And
he ran off with it.
Yeah, and they'll be fine. I think they have a happy family over there, it looked like, I guess. I don't know what their plan is or what their history was, but but they were exciting, and that was good.
Yep.
His character was as fun as I thought he would be with that actor.
I don't know if he was as fun as I thought he would be, but he did it well. Like, that guy's just, he's always kind of like after Zaz and NoHo Hank or whatever.
That's fair. Well, I mean, yeah, they could let him go. They could let him go completely off the chain if they wanted to. We'll have more time for that, though. Mm-hmm. I mean, not to mention he's got drama chops for days, but we only got to see pieces of. I mean, we only got to see 20% of what that guy is in the tank. Same with Lois. So that's easily, and I knew this is a done deal. This is an NFL team playing a little league team. I knew going in that was going to be my favorite Lois, and I came out knowing that was going to be my favorite Lois.
Who the fuck's Lewis?
Yeah. When I meet him, I'll let you know. This Lois cat, though, that was in the film, did really well for me. But same thing. We watched her do a lot of things, but I've seen that actress do so much more that just could do you could do 2 films with just her, and I'm sure it would be fine.
Yeah, I think that's something that I missed was no one except for Clark was like really stepping up at Lois and making her prove a point, or do a thing. Like, we kind of come in, she already hates Lex, she's already dating Clark. They have a little row with their interview, and then it's just like everybody's like, for the rest of the thing, it's just like everybody's like, yeah, fuck, do you?
Yeah,
and she's doing her.
Yeah,
she's got to she does get to go and at least grab one Justice Gang member.
Yeah.
After calling them all out, like, the hell's wrong with you? He's your friend. Yeah, I don't know, is he?
Yeah.
Or is he here to take our women? I don't understand. Nathan Fillion is just perfect as Guy Gardner.
He is perfect. Yeah. I mean, if all they had known was, if he just knew he wanted to put his friend Nathan in this film and knew that he wanted to kind of do, something with that dynamic, like a character like it. He just could have found the right character to fit it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if it went that way or the other way around. I don't know how it matched how, but man, yeah, it's a wonderful match. I would not have thought Guy Gardner was going to be a big part of anything in my life at any point.
But I think, we will go back for characters that people don't know in later projects. So, I mean, we know that Guy... Yeah. There was a recent piece of news where they asked Fillion how Guy was different in Lanterns than he was in Superman. And he's like, oh, he's not. He's over in Lanterns pissing everybody off because he's a fucking asshole.
Mm-hmm.
Just like how in Superman he was a fucking asshole.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough, man. Fair enough.
He had said, though, that he kind of wants everyone to be, the same but different. You walk into one set, you treat it differently, walk into another. And I think Fillion is one of the people that he kind of said he can trust to be like, I'm going to be this, but the tone will be this. But it'll have more opportunities to play with him, though.
I saw a guy say, when I was waiting on you to call me before the show. Some guy was saying like, his Gunn is just making all the same mistakes as Zack Snyder made.
Yeah, making a movie and showing it to people.
Yeah,
primarily.
He was like one of the things he mentioned was, we've already had a Lex Luthor who was a tech billionaire, and nobody liked that version. Why would we want to see another tech billionaire? We don't. And I was like, wait, no, that wasn't the reason people hated Jesse Eisenberg.
Oof, yeah.
Well, you really missed the point of that anger.
Yeah.
No, he was just really neurodivergent. He was just really,
What are the... I'm blanking at what are the other ways to get to... We've got land. We've got tech. I don't know. What do you...
Yeah. Well...
You manufacture things these days? I guess someone has to do it, but who
mad
knows
scientist.
Yeah.
You just have a random mad scientist
who science your way into a fortune. Yeah.
Yeah, you can have the guy that...
But then we're back to the tech billionaire again. So I'm just wondering how
the government
get a fortune.
You got the crime boss. You have the Midwestern huckster.
Oh, we could have had a trust fund Lex Luthor.
Yeah, I mean...
That'd be a new way.
Maybe.
A dangerous 21-year-old Lex Luthor whose trust fund was just released to him.
I don't know, man.
He's mad. He's mad, and Daddy never loved him. But now he's got the money.
All right. I've got a couple of questions for you.
Shoot.
What did you think of the clone reveal?
I wasn't sure what to expect. I think that's what I thought. I think that's what I really thought was going to be under there.
Yeah.
On the pie chart, I think it was taking up 60% of the chart. If I had to bet, on red or black. So that didn't really shock me. I was nervous for a second that it was going to be something. Well, I damn near. I realized you couldn't hear me very well because right before the mask was about to come off, I damn near leaned over to you and went, "It's John Wesley's ship."
Yeah, I didn't hear you say that.
I stopped myself. I realized you wouldn't be able to hear me. It had just been distracting.
Yeah. It was just corn sweat, and I'm fine. I knew it was going to be a clone.
Corn sweater.
Yeah, I knew it was going to be a clone. I was really.
There's that last second where you're like, yeah, I mean, you could have done Cavill though, but okay, yeah, all right, yeah. I knew it was going to be that, but okay.
I'm just glad he didn't turn into fucking Bizarro here.
I did wonder for a second who's going to try to talk him into, staying here. Speaking of, is the engineer's still around? Heartbeat? Raptors got her?
Last I heard is she had a heartbeat.
I don't know what's left of the Raptors, but they were supposed to come in and get her. She had a heartbeat, and for Gunn, that usually means we'll see it later.
Well, we didn't actually see Clone die. He got sucked into a black hole, or something like a black hole.
Yeah, and that is, not a good place to be, even for a super being.
It's not, but, if you accidentally go into an alternate reality and land on an Earth and become that Earth Superman, and that's Bizarro world.
Yeah, and we're in super science realm here. There was it was a reverse anti-proton river.
Something
I don't know. Some kind of quantum river. We're in a pocket universe. God knows what's in that black hole. There's any number of reasons we could see Cordon Sweater again, and then. Engineer, of course, is around. So, I don't think any of the majors really went away here, did they?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think any of the Happy Meal toys are going to, appreciate and value because they're not going to show up in this second one.
Yeah. Whew. All right. And what did you think of Kara?
Oh, that was fun. It leaves me worried about one thing. For the sake of this film, that was just a really, really fun inclusion. Did we talk about that? I don't remember. I didn't remember what was going to happen when it happened.
Talk about what?
That she was going to show up.
Yeah, that was kept under wraps.
Yeah. It was. I had two thoughts that were. One was a little distracting. Well, they were both distracting. One was when they were talking about like when Crypto's just bouncing on her and she's enjoying it and they're just roughhousing and they're over there talking about like complete lack of discipline. This is why it's such a bad dog. I was like, yeah, and that's me. That's 100% me as a call out as a dog owner. Y'all shut that up. Y'all shut up. Like, so like, yeah, I feel that. That's how you play with dogs. I get you, Kara. But two, that is so fucking close to Woman of Tomorrow.
Yes.
Like when you say you're going to base it on it, you know, but then you see it and you're like, oh, that's just the first panel. Okay, cool. So we're going straight into that. Gotcha.
And I love that. I mean, I think they had Clark tell for a line of like storytelling dialogue from either Ruthie or Kara herself, talking about she likes to go to planets with red suns so that she can get drunk and party.
Right. He's explaining that to Gary.
Yeah. Damn it. I'm dead naming the robot.
Oh, 4? Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
I wasn't sure if it did name itself Gary or if it remains 4. Because I thought the joke was that it had said, well, Gary's kind of also a name. You know, like...
Yeah, then the next scene he was calling him Gary.
He did call him Gary? Okay, I didn't know if he canonized that
or
if it was just a snarky little aside for sure.
No, he absolutely just said, all right, Gary.
Cool.
All right.
Oh, you know, well, so I had an eye out the whole time for like, well, is this one I can bring my daughter to? The answer ended up being no, or at least it could be yes, but she has to go to the bathroom at a certain point. Mm-hmm. I think it's a viewable movie for, you know, a young enough kid if they can do it, except for probably the Russian roulette scene. That
was rough, dude.
That's going to be like the scene that's you need to brace for if you're bringing somebody to it.
Yeah.
About at the halfway mark. Yeah, really rough, and it does something in the movie though that's very specific. It just takes redeemability out the window for those two, or specifically those two, and then it's kind of, that was one of the moments in the movie where I kind of realized how far into it we really were, like where I was kind of trying to slow down and catch myself into get into the groove of the pacing a little bit, and realize like, oh, the stakes have already dropped. This is another part where we're raising the stakes again. I almost had to consciously do that in certain ways because I was getting too distracted. That part's a weird experience. It's on me. But yeah, like when that guy goes out, yeah, like you said, there were great performances all around, but yeah, that scene, the way it breaks both of them was really great.
Yeah.
Incredibly acted by everybody around. The Baravian,
yeah,
dude, so good at acting that I would have dropped him in that Out of the Sky myself if I had the chance.
Oh, I love that too.
Yeah, I hated that man.
Oh, you're not going to do anything to me because you're like your buddy Superman. No, I'm not like Superman.
Yeah.
Which was, with the way they killed that kaiju at the beginning, I felt so bad for it.
Me too. I know. He clearly did too. That's another strand to work on later. Is like we're mid-universe, but they're all developing their relationships. Like there's clearly a lot of trust. There's a lot of teamwork, but like he doesn't like having to basically clean up after him. They're not careful enough. There's a lot they're working on there. And then like they're, the stingers, by the way, there's 2 if anyone's curious and made it this far for some reason. But like,
yeah,
the stingers, like the very last stingers, it's funny. Neither of them are all that crucial, of course, but a really funny one. Just like that dynamic of like, man, I mean, they're getting to know each other, but like, damn. Paul just walks away. Man, you couldn't let me have that shit. Damn it. I get it.
Yeah. I love the little Peacemaker cameo.
Yeah. God.
Where he's talking to Michael Ian Black.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't realize Michael Ian Black was there too.
You didn't realize that was him?
Well, actually, I didn't for a couple seconds when he was first there. I didn't realize he was going to be coming. I was not prepared to see Michael Ian Black today. And then like for something about the first time he appeared, like it took me a couple shots, like camera turns back to him before I was, oh my God, is that Michael Ian Black? I got there. But always a delight to see him. I don't think I've ever run across that guy and not enjoy what he's doing.
Yeah, Michael Ian Black doing his best. I don't know, Tucker Carlson.
Yeah, kind of. It's like an impression of a sleazier version, an even sleazier version, maybe. I don't know. Tucker's probably the closest, by my guess. That was, Peacemaker's inclusion was just that one took me by surprise. But yeah, he basically just pops on and be like, "Yeah, what an asshole." Okay.
Yeah, Superman's not great. Shut up, Chris.
Yeah, it was at that moment that
Dick.
Like. There were only a couple moments that I kind of wanted to lean over to you and say something. For the most part, it was a very loud theater, and just to the edge of that would have been too much if it was any really much louder. And not many opportunities to kind of lean over and say stuff. But
yeah, no, there was stuff coming 24/7.
Just straight at you.
The whole 2 hours and 9 minutes. It was just bam, 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 bam. Oh my god, which isn't necessarily bad. It's just Bethany was like, "Oh yeah, it was great to watch to see the Superman movie that didn't feel like it was taking a week of my life." And I kind of laughed, and I was like, "Which Superman movie are you talking about? You said that felt like it took a week of your life."
She said, "Yes,"
and she was like, "Any of the Superman movies that weren't this one?"
Anything you've shown me so far.
Yeah.
That is true. Just to respond to our own last episode in a way. This is a good film. Like this is kind of, in a lot of ways, it solves the problem. It's a good movie, and it's a good movie in a way that, like, the guy next to us said something at the end that was pretty, like, kind of cliche. Did you hear him?
No.
I'm gonna try to actually nail his words. Give me just a second here. It was it seems so cliche that it's going to seem like I'm making this up. But he said, that was a good movie. That's kind of what I came here to see. That's the Superman I expected. And, like,
okay.
I don't think you could really write the script for an audience member. I think that's what they were trying to do. Was like, man, I know we've all had a lot of thoughts about Superman. And there's been some weird movies. It's been a while. And I think there's like a whisper that me and you can hear now. It's like, and by the way, if you watch those old ones, those are really fucking weird. Okay. But anyway, so we haven't really had a good go where everyone was happy with it, right? Try this out. And
yeah. And I feel bad saying I feel bad saying I don't think it's a great movie, but I just don't. I don't feel like it's any movie I've ever seen before. It's just so much.
It is.
It's just like big swinging dicks, dude. It's like it's swinging for the fences here.
No, it's not even like a strawberry cheesecake. It's like a triple chocolate Belgian cheesecake.
And
like a turtle.
It's not.
Turtle
yeah,
cheesecake.
And it's not to say that, like, it's just gonna barrage you with shit that's just endless action without any substance, because that's not true.
No, every bit of the action was earned. Incredibly well done, by the way. We never did stop to say anything about it. We've got weeks. This will be going on for a while. Mm-hmm. I don't feel pressed to say every last thought at this second. But,
I am so struggling to stay awake right now.
Most of your thoughts are going to be appearing tomorrow. But yeah, like the action a lot. I mean, especially God, the scene where he just shoots up in the sky, everyone kind of reacting to like, what the fuck is he? What's he up to? I just loved it. Loved that kind of thing. And by the way, one of the innovations in this that I wondered how you felt about it. I fucking love him playing his team like a video game.
Lex?
Yeah. Never seen that in my life. I have no context for that. I think that's brand new, and I fucking loved it.
Yeah, just programming his mindless clone husk.
And Otis finally, and by the way, Otis, of course, like Otis finally says it's programmed for like up to 2,500 things. And, that's just to show off how fluent he can be with something like 2,500 separate designs per character, by the way. Mm-hmm. But you're getting a sense of it early on. Like they're making it a point to jump around on letter and number here, Z42 or whatever. And then like A something. But yeah, like it was, I thought, a brilliant way of showing how fucking clever he is. How well prepared that was. It is very much some Batman energy, just in very much the wrong application. Mm-hmm. And by the way, he was. They mentioned something in the press run up that something neat about him was that he is physically present. Like this Lex Luthor feels like he could physically do something in a room, and I did get that off this guy.
Yeah.
Even though some of that is, slapstick humor of like knocking the cup off the table a few times.
Uh-huh. Let me say this. Once again, we are fucking fooled by the motherfucking toys.
What was it?
I have in my possession a Luthor Corp lab set.
Mm-hmm.
It contains a Crypto, a Baby Joey, a Metamorpho, and a Superman and a Mr. Terrific, and Lex Luthor in his kryptonite fighting armor.
In the armor, that's right.
Just like we had kryptonite armor Lex Luthor in a BVS 2 or 3 pack, something.
Yeah.
Each time thought we had some kind of damn scoop.
And just no.
Just no.
No. So, speaking of whispering in the middle of the film, I did have to, and there was an opportunity, thank goodness. But that was during the credits. It finally loosened up enough for me to ask you a question. But so I had to go pee at some point. Came back. I tried to pick a spot, but it is what it is. You do your best. It's right next to it, so I hear a bunch of banging. Like I just hear a bunch of explosions and think, shit. Run back in as fast as I can. I come back, everything's calm again. Fuck. Missed something clearly.
You did.
Didn't have time to stop for it. You'd have had to explain. Just no time. You just watch.
Yeah.
We get to the back and I ask you about it. And so I kind of lean over and I'm like, what I miss with Mr. Terrific there, like something cool, I suppose. And you said a bunch of things, and
yeah,
it was loud. It was still loud, so I didn't get to say like what you said. I wanted to be like, so I can't, like what you described is so cool that if I hadn't just seen this movie, I would think you're fucking with me right now.
No, it's not like that. It was just they go to that.
It just
place.
sounded like a very like it was. You're like, oh, dude, he was fucking like flicking the spheres at people and like kicking ass 5 different ways. I'm like, yeah.
He was just doing like little flicking his fingers around, and they were following his movements and doing what he wanted. Yeah. So they show up at that like beach front where they've got that portal, and he's using his little T-spheres and whatever to map the DNA of the air or something and pick up where Clark was.
I saw the row of them leading him like a video game.
Right.
That was the last thing I had a glimpse of before I literally jogged.
Yeah. Asshole raptors start telling them to back the fuck up.
Mm-hmm.
They're all pulling their weapons. Terrific. Just with a wave of his finger, there's a bubble around him and Lois. And all these assholes start firing. It's not penetrating the bubble. Then he jumps out and just fucking takes them all damn down.
See, that's the part. I want to go back and see it, and that's going to be my excuse, is just to get that scene.
He's just leaping around.
The bubble has shown up in a clip here and there, so I've seen that, but not that.
Yeah, and it does a nice little job of like showing it from her perspective, where she's just like, Jesus Christ, this is crazy. He's just like leaping around like he's fucking Spider-Man or something, just fighting the shit out of these dudes.
Yeah.
So that was fun. Were you there for when she's like talking about? She said makes some comment about his little circles. Yeah.
It's spheres. God, it's like, those are 2D.
They're called T-spheres.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
I didn't ever say what I thought about Kara.
Oh yeah.
So Kara shows up and they're like, "Oh, your cousin has come back." She's like, "Where's my dog?" So okay. Because he does say something about like, oh, well, it's kind of a weird
foster
thing.
Situation.
Kind of a foster situation with Crypto.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, that's the thing. And then he was like, well, I didn't. He's like, man, you brought that dog. He's like, yeah, I didn't want him killing my parents' cows.
Yeah. Yeah. Which, by the way, is one of the more relatable moments early in the movie is just him just coming through the window. Where's the dog? Like,
yeah.
That's about as, get him, Superman, as you can get early on in the film, is go get the fucking dog, Superman.
Yeah. So, I think any question I had about Millie Alcock playing Kara is gone.
Is out the window?
She came in. She was delightful and drunk.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Or at the very least, just rambunctious and
oh, that's still drinking. Yeah.
jet lagged. Well, I don't know how long a drunk hangs on after you've entered the yellow sun system.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
But, I thought she did a great job. And I do like this idea that, Clark is like, I don't like this drinking and partying bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, thanks for watching my dog, bitch.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's like she's like this tiny little thing with this big personality.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm excited about it. I think that's, I want to see that movie.
Yeah.
I also liked, how we opened with this, with, the orchestral Superman, very Superman sounding music.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end, while they've done the bookend and we are seeing the pictures of his earthly parents, the Gary 4 robot turns on a contemporary band. So there's an actual needle drop there. It's like more, it just feels like he actually went from idolizing his Kryptonian heritage to accepting his place he's not
to the band on the wall kind of thing more than
because like
Ethereal Symphony.
I'm gonna wind up liking this movie more and more as I think about it.
Oh yeah.
Because like he's very much like,
I knew that was gonna be the case when we started this conversation. Honestly.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That was what I was hoping for. Because when he's having that conversation with Lois, he's like, they do touch on what his parents said or what he believes they said. But he's also like, oh yeah, no, I didn't talk to anybody. I just fucking got up and did that shit. I just got up and did that shit.
Yeah.
I just went and stopped a war. I saved fucking lives. Fuck you.
Yeah.
And that is some like Kryptonian shit. That's like what his parents were getting at.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, go and rule those motherfuckers. And, then to have the Justice Gang step in when the war is really coming about.
Right.
Again.
It left you in a weird place though for the kid. I mean, so those kids, they were raising a Superman flag and chanting.
They're raising a Superman flag, but Superman's got to inspire the other heroes. They've got to be better than they are.
Yeah. Well, it made them rise to the occasion for sure. You see something out of them you hadn't seen previously. Yeah. But like they're clearly galvanized. But you gotta wonder if you're that kid and you're like, well, I mean, I asked for Superman, but I mean, it is his friends, so that'll work.
Yeah.
I mean,
Guy Gardner's like, yes, I'm sorry, Superman can't come. He's got something else, but he sent us. And the kid's thinking, I speak 2 words of English, and it's super and man.
Yeah, I knew Superman and hello. None of that. I didn't understand any of that. But you did just stop a bullet, so I'm rolling with you.
Right.
I was going to die, and now I'm not dead. So carry on, strange green man. That's all I would care about at that moment.
Sure.
Your hair looks weird, but
beggars can't be choosers.
Whatever, dude. Flick off them tanks for me.
Yeah.
Oh, how much do you think he's going to just like bounce crypto between the movies? Because apparently that was that. When Crypto gets picked up at the end, I was like, oh, but I was kind of attached to the idea of those two being together all the time, and then I realized, oh, he's just sending Crypto to the other movie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right.
It's Kara's dog.
Yeah, I know. I just
apparently
in this version, it's
yeah.
So cool. That's fine. You can just send Crypto wherever the next thing's being made, and I'm good with it.
Absolutely. What else you got, man? What else you got?
I'm sure plenty that'll come to me. My Daily Planet popcorn news box is phenomenal.
Yeah, that was cool.
I do recommend. I mean, I really love the swag on this thing. It was worth it. If you're into the spinning on that one, I'd go for it. A major early on high point for me. Lexus score, fucking great.
Oh yeah.
Dug that.
Yep.
Score generally very good.
What'd you think of Eve Tessmacher being in love with Jimmy?
Yeah, that's funny. That's one of the mysteries in the movie. Like Lois kind of says, like, "How are you doing this?" And like I wanted more, like, "No, how are you doing this?"
Well, yeah, because like it's not just her either. Yeah. It's like the hot girls in the office are like over there giggling about Jimmy, and he's just like, all right.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, I like that being kind of a side joke that he's just sort of a charmer for whatever reason. that remains one of the things that I think had the least explanation in the whole movie. Like if there's a plot hole here, it might be Jimmy's entryway into so many panties, or without explanation. But attractive enough guy. I'm sure he's got plenty of game. That may be more sellable and more immediately sellable for anybody else. But like Lois seemed to bring it up, so that works for me.
Mm-hmm. Man, I don't know why Steve Lombard is in this movie. I don't know why.
Don't know why I was there or in the ship. Or
Kat, Grant, but most of the Daily Planet people, I don't even know why they were there.
Nah, they didn't have to be. I was happy to see them.
Yeah, I guess they were fine.
I like the idea of filling out the Daily Planet, of there just being okay,
people on hand in case.
There's people there, and the environment feels like it's more crowded. Like imagine that same scene, but all extras and just a couple people shouting dialogue at each other with none of the passerbys doing as much work, and I think that would feel a little less. I don't know. It just wouldn't sell the big, busy tempo of this movie as much.
So do you think, because I got to wrap this up. I got to go sleep.
Yeah.
Do you think this is the best Superman movie that's ever been made?
Probably still, yeah. I think that's probably going to be where I land on it. I think it's going to be in that I like that there's going to be a couple scenes that I can tell now that I still like more out of Man of Steel even, but it's just going to be a couple scenes. Overall, this is still going to be the best one. It's probably not going to be that close when it really settles.
Yeah, I think this one might be the most rewatchable for me.
Oh yeah,
at the very least. I don't know. Like I've seen people say that it feels like a episode of Superman the Animated Series. Not quite feeling that one either, but
I haven't seen that in like 12 years though, so I don't really want to compare it.
Yeah. I feel like it might not be for me, but also it's not for me. I'm so sleepy, basically you're getting drunk, Dave. I'm so sorry. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning right now. I'm so out of it.
I was thinking whether it was going to be like for me or not for me as well, and I think it's both. It's both. I think I took the same sentiment as everybody else. Like that's the closest to the guy that I want to see. Like that's the person that like I wish I'd gotten to see, several times. I don't know. It was nice to watch him walk away kind of unscathed this time. Because as much as I can defend and enjoy Man of Steel, like having to focus on a death is a different way of experiencing that whole set of storylines. You're just going to go through different things. And I don't know, leaving it this way it's more lighthearted in a way that I find refreshing right now. I sure as hell enjoyed it today. I think I'm going to be able to enjoy it a lot more casually going forward than I have for some of the other ones.
Yeah, I don't know if this will hold up for me as a good Superman movie, but I do think it's objectively a better movie than any of the previous movies, any of the previous Superman movies, probably. Like, he doesn't snap anybody's neck. He's not destroying anybody's fucking truck. He's not playing with a dog while his dad dies.
Yeah.
To make it fair and go back to Donner.
Yeah. There's
not a motherfucker with a sequin vest roller skating backwards because Zod is blowing on him.
True.
Like.
True. No tinfoil suits or crystals.
And they set up a hell of a lot.
Yeah, they really did. It's a wide universe with, as it said, 300 years worth of accumulated gods and monsters.
Yeah, and it's this part of it is like it can be called Superman all day. I did, and I'm not saying I'm mad about this, but I did feel like there was kind of a lot of other things that weren't Superman in there. It's a lot of Justice Gang.
Yeah, I mean, as a sidebar, a lot
of universe set up.
Some I felt like that amount was workable. And that's a good point. Some people had said, I felt like Superman was just reacting to the rest of the film. Well, yeah, because you kind of have, and if you do it well, then you have your main character in your A plot react sometimes to B and C plot like he would be doing here. I think that's probably just good.
Yeah.
I'm about out of steam for my on my day too. It's 1 a.m. here as we talk.
Yeah. I'll say this. It's not everything I ever wanted out of a Superman movie, but we have time. There'll be more. And one of the things I want to see is whether it's something that I want or not. I want to see different takes on these things. And I do think this is a fresh take. I love that he's the one, who's in love with Lois and she's kind of like, I don't know. for a while, at least the duration of the movie.
Yeah.
And it's a nice subversion of the original.
Did they get to the bottom of that?
Yeah.
What was the explanation?
What do you mean explanation?
Well, did they finally unpack? Maybe I'm just forgetting. Did they unpack the whole I never thought this would work part completely?
I don't know, but she did say I love you too.
She did say that.
She did say I love you too.
Seemed like they were gonna get at some of the.
I mean, I think it just boils down to Lois is punk and doesn't trust anybody or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Superman is not, and that's his own version of punk, where everyone is cynical and he's not.
Yeah.
He loves, she is reticent, you know? I think that's what it is. She's just a negative person and he's not.
Yeah.
He's a very, very positive person.
Yeah. A fair amount of the press they were doing beforehand was that conversation.
Yeah. So I think that's all it was. But yeah, I did appreciate all of that. And I look forward to seeing it again at some point. But I love you guys and thank you for listening. And I've got to go. All right.
This man's going to pass out on us. We got to let him go.
Patreon.com/DC on screen. $1 a month gets you every episode ad free. $5 a month gets you that plus exclusives, of which there have been some recently. Mm-hmm. You can also buy those exclusives individually. If you don't want to pay for $5 a month, you can just pay $3 for a single thing. That's how that goes. And helping to support the show on Patreon. I know. The fucking time sucked, dude. Everything sucks. Everything fucking sucks. I'll be honest. I wouldn't pay for our show. But you know what? If you just hate the ads, I get it. That's what we're there for. Patreon.com/DC on screen. Jason, you hate ads. You would do that.
Oh, yeah, in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
And a heartbeat.
So, I try to give enough options for everyone to be happy. And fuck, man, I don't know what we're doing. Thanks for listening. Mm-hmm. Watch this movie. Mm-hmm. It's a new take. It's a fresh take. It's worth your $1 or 25, whatever. Until next time, keep some DC on your screen.
We'll get some sleep until then.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Bye.